Hello Epic7 and welcome to this week's Hall of Trials video. This week we've got a series of new conditions to fight Kayron, so I've put together a couple of teams for you. The first team we'll be discussing is a Dagger Sicar team that gave me the second highest score on the first try, so I think that's a really solid team. As an alternate, I'll be giving you a Soul Weaver team using Tamarin that's a little bit more stable, but a little lower scoring. Then there'll also be a promotion, which you guys really need to check out. I know this has been in a few of my other videos, but it's a good one. It's saved me some money, it gets me my monthly packs for free, and it got me my Tetra Phantasm even after the Spirit Bloom system removed them, so might want to check that out. And then finally we will do a full auto team for those who don't need Dagger Sicar but just want an easy SSS Plus team. Now I gotta tip my hat to the developers. They're really trying with Hall of Trials by setting up new conditions to keep it interesting and make it a little bit challenging. This week, if you have Rangers on your hero, then you take double damage, so you don't want to have any Rangers on your team. Next, heroes can't be granted extra turns, and God, I hate this one. It's not that it's difficult, it's just that it really throws you for a loop. You're used to units using a skill and getting extra turn, like Tamarin transforming or Sangelic using her S3, and when it's not there, it messes with you. It takes a few runs typically to get used to that condition. Now the special advantages. After a fire elemental hero attacks, the highest attack person on the team will be CR pushed by 10%. When a warrior uses the S3, it grants enhanced dual attack to the back row. That means they automatically will dual attack with the next person that does an S1. And increases damage suffered by the boss when they've got burns on them. My least favorite debuff, because there are few ways to have warriors stick burns on people, and all of them are pretty heavy RNG. Now, even though I said I tip my hat to Smilegate for trying to come up with new and unique advantages and disadvantages, we're going to ignore all of them and go in with our standard dual attack Sirmia team. Now, on this team, we don't have anybody that can use burns, so we're reliant on some artifacts to make it happen. First, let's talk about Sirmia. I loaded my absolute best rage damage gear on her, stripped my strays down, and built her up for this. You don't have to go nuts. I score like 14 million on this run, so you can have lower gear points and still hit Dagger Sicar pretty easily with this team, as long as you're lucky enough to have this EE proc. That's the EE that 25% of the time lets her do her S1 twice. Very important, and more RNG. Put her on Cruel Mischief for extra damage. Next we're going to go with Kitty Clarissa. Just a normal PvE Kitty Clarissa. Nothing special about her. The S1 EE gives a little bit of extra healings, which is nice because we're starved for healings. And I put her on Junkyard Dog. This is my source of burns. You can use Indestructible Gators, but remember it only procs when you don't crit, so you'll need to take Kitty Clarissa's crit down to the bare bones to make that one work. It's only a 50% shot, and you're relying on Sirmia's S1EE to proc multiple times for super high scores. This is what I meant by it being a RNG-based fight. Now on Camilla, I'm putting Benimaru's Tashi on so that she can just use her S1 skill and not have to use her S2, because remember, she'll use her S2 and she won't get the extra turn because of the disadvantage of the fight. No extra turns. So that really is a helpful artifact to have on her. If you don't have it, put a second Junkyard Dog on her, or run a combination of Junkyard Dog and Gators to increase your chances. Next is a standard PvE Tamarin, nothing fancy about her. I put her on Prophetic Candlestick because it's really annoying to have the long cooldown time and trying to time insertion into the first phase. And this, with its 40% chance to lower her S3 cooldown, she can transform a lot faster. But I'll tell you what, I ran this with Tamarin, and I'll play that clip towards the end, but I wasn't pleased with the score. I just put in Sinful Angelica, and the nice thing about Sinful Angelica is she speeds this up a lot. She gives an attack boost also, so I'm going to give an attack boost to Camilla and Sirmia since they're on damage gear. I'm not too worried about the back row getting an extra attack passive. We're never going to proc it. Turn her imprint on, and I'm going to give her Candlestick for the same reason I put Candlestick on Tamarin. It's going to help her cycle her S3, which is important because she's going to be taking a lot of shots to the face with no real healing on this team. You could put her on Celestine if you want to try to go for more sustain, but I don't think it's necessary. Start of the fight, you get smacked, and he summons these adds. Now, if you were fighting with Tamarin, you would need to hit the adds and stall for as much time as possible, but you can get in pretty quickly if you use Sinful Angelica. Now, what I'm doing here is trying to stack some debuffs. I would really like a burn to carry over into the next fight, so I've got an attack break and a heal block. Maybe I get a defense break with this S1. I do. So now I hopefully can get a burn on here. You know what, I gotta transform first. So we transform. My debuff idea just went right out the window, so we'll S2 to get a gab on Sirmia, and you see what I mean about not being used to not having the extra turns. Everything goes around the bend a few times here. Okay, if I stick a burn, I think it'll carry. Stuck the burn, and I get to keep it, and that's what we wanted. So now it's a series of dual attacks, and hoping that this EE procs just like that. So that's one hit. Now the unfortunate truth is Sirmia is constantly CR pushing herself. You'll notice she moves up the CR bar every time she attacks because she's the highest attack unit, and she's a fire unit, so she's self-pushing herself, and that cycles her through her skills pretty quickly. Man, I got 3 of those off in one round. That's great. We're over 5 million already. Now this is going to go with Camilla because Sirmia no longer has her attack buff. And Camilla no longer has her attack buff, so this should go back with Sirmia again. So that's really, really good. 6.4 million out of stage 1.
I hate getting hurt.
Now the tricky part is inserting into stage 2 and making sure you have your skills ready, especially with no extra turns. I'm hoping that Sinful Angelica will come around the horn again because with her up front, she should be taking a lot of hits. Hopefully Candlestick cycles her through her skills. I need at least one Candlestick proc for her to be able to spam her S3. Nobody is debuffed yet, so I'm just going to S1, try to get a burn. I got it. If I get a defense break, ooh, nice. So that took a good chunk of the health away. There was a prophetic Candlestick proc. With that Candlestick proc, Sinful Angelica should be ready to do her S3 again before her immortality wears off, and you can see why it's really nice to have that immortality constantly up on her. I think we're going to be ready to push phase, so I'm going to go ahead and get the gab on Sirmia. We'll get Kitty ready. Sinful can go ahead and hit. Maybe we push phase. Not quite. Oh, yep, we push phase. Nice. Okay, so I don't have any bleeds or burns yet, and unfortunately Sirmia is going to push herself, but Kitty cut, so we're in good shape. Burn. Oh, no, that's horrible. 50% artifact, everybody. So I got to wait for Kitty to come back before I get burns. It's going to cost me a lot of points. Oh, except I dual attacked because the S3 activated Kitty's, gave her the enhanced dual attack, so when Sirmia S1, Kitty dual attacked with her, and now we've got burns, so that worked out great. Make sure you have your Junkyard Dog unit in the back row. There's a nice double hit from Sirmia. Oh, another double hit. Sirmia's popping off in this fight. And as you see, we are... Another one. Wow. So we are way above Dagger Sicar. And one more hit. But there was no attack buff on Sirmia, so it was with Camilla. Unfortunately, that takes out Sinful Angelica before she gets a chance to heal up. Maybe Celestine wouldn't be such a bad idea on her. That way she could be healing up a little bit during the break phase. She might survive this, and that gives a chance to push it to the end. So you may want to experiment with Celestine, see if it lets you push to the end, because these guys just hit so much, or for so much damage. I just wasn't able to survive it without any form of healing at all. But 14 million points. So if you do come into this phase with a healer and you want to try to push it, make sure you kill all of the ads first. As you see, they spam way too much damage to just sit there and tank it. You won't be able to burst down Kayron with them, so kill all the ads, then you can focus Kayron, and maybe you get a full clear and blow my score out of the water. Get one last attack. And 14.22 million without even getting the full clear bonus. Now, if you remember at the start of the video, I had loaded up Tamarin. I did use her. This was the first run through with Sinful Angelica, but I did one run through prior to the Singelica team. Man, I would have got that #1 spot for sure if I had stuck that burn in phase 2. Ah well, 14 million's plenty. So if you stick with Tamarin on the team, this is what that fight looked like. And as you can see, we killed all of the ads first, and that gave us free reign to just beat down Kayron. And with Tamarin healing, we were in no danger whatsoever of failing this run. And there's a 10.2 million score plus the million bonus, gave me 11 million. I wasn't thrilled with this score, so I started again and did it with Singelica for the 14 million, but I think this probably was potentially a higher scoring team. I think the only reason Singelica scored better was because I got a whole bunch of S1 EE procs. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, here comes the promotion. This is the App Store that I use to buy all of my packs. You get 15% back in points that you can use to purchase, and you get a lot of free stuff, so hang with me on this one. It's going to sound like an advertisement, and that's because it is, but you really want to hear this one. Do you like saving money? Do you like discounts? Do you like coupons? Do you like getting points back on your purchases, where these points can be spent just like cash in Epic 7? I have some exciting news from Huawei AppGallery. They have just launched an incredible cashback offer, so let me first walk you through how to get these deals. First, you'll need to grab your Android device, or in my case an emulator. Install a browser real quick if you don't have one, then head over to the Huawei AppGallery, link in the description, and install the app. Now you'll have to provide birthdays and emails and phone numbers, all the basic stuff app stores that are processing money ask for, nothing out of the ordinary. Make sure when you enter your birthday, even if you want to lie about it, you make sure you pick an age that makes you at least 17 years old, or you'll get stuck behind the child account wall. Now, one tip I will give you is change your country to Switzerland. It seems to have the best in-game prices right now for European countries. Once installed, you'll need to check that HMS Core is also installed. HMS Core runs in the background. It just makes sure that your in-game purchases count towards your points. Now install a new instance of Epic 7 via the Huawei Appstore and make sure that this instant is where you make your purchases. Now head over to the features section and take a look at the promotions. And look at that. This month we have a special deal out there for Epic 7. 15% back in coins on your purchases, no limit, no tiers, no caps. Not to mention other special bonuses and coupons available on this site. It's really simple to get this set up and going, but if the process still confuses you or you hit a stumbling block, head over to the official Discord, also a link in the description. There you'll find tutorials and a helpful team of people ready to answer your questions. Huawei runs promotions on a regular basis and often hosts giveaways in their Discord, so make sure you join. So what's stopping you? It's free stuff. You don't have to pay sales tax. It's really, really nice. But let's get to the promised full auto team. So for the full auto team, I am switching Camilla onto Junkyard Dog, and the reason for that is Kitty Clarissa on full auto will do her S3 and then her S2, and it just takes her longer to do her S1 attack, which is the only way that you'll get the burns off of Junkyard Dog. So you can put Kitty Clarissa on pretty much anything. I mean, heck, if you have a spare second Junkyard Dog, put her on that. You can drop her crit chance down to as low as you can get it and stick Gators on her, or you can just stick a damage boosting artifact like a Card of Small Miracles or Squirt Gun or even Warhorn. Other than that, it's the same team that we used in the prior fight, like literally the exact same team, except for these two artifact changes. And you want to turn everybody's skills off except for Singelica and Kitty. Kitty needs her skills on to transform. Singelica needs her skills on to S3. Sirmia will never have Gab, but that's okay. It keeps us from wasting time with S3 attacks. Remember, her S1, double hitting with her S1 inside of the break phase is so much more value than using her S3 with Gab. The reason her S3 seems to hit so hard is because her S3 has defense penetration on it, but inside the break phase, Kayron has no defense. So you never want to use her S3 inside of the break phase anyway. Now, even though I've got Camilla on the Junkyard Dog artifact, we're halfway through the break phase and we no burns. Finally got a burn. We get a burn, and Sirmia never got to hit into that burn. We still exited with 2.4 million. That was about the most unlucky RNG run we could have. There was no double hits and there was no burns. So we're at 2.5 million. Our goal for Triple S Plus is 4.5 million. All that matters is getting into the second break phase. If you pull that off, you're good to go. Prophetic Candlestick doing its work, so Sinful Angelica is able to keep her immortality up.
Is it time for me, meow?
Kitty transforms.
Anybody there? On my way.
Obey, kneel.
And because of the immortality, Kayron fails to kill. About the only way this fails is if that S3 from Kayron goes into your Sirmia and winds up killing her.
Your torment excites me.
Oh, I'm going to lose Kitty.
Sometimes darkness
That was unfortunate.
can become your light.
Sinful Angelica uses her S3 again, and we push phase. Now, losing Kitty was not that big of a deal because Camilla has got the burn artifact, and as long as she sticks a burn, which she does, we're golden. We're going to blow through the Triple S Plus, especially with a dual attack there, but, I mean, you only need 4.5 million for Triple S Plus, and we are going well into the sixes.
Filthy creatures. It's time to tear them to pieces. Anybody there? Nice.
Okay, I take it back. We're over 7 million. Now, I was worried maybe this was just a fluke. Maybe I got lucky and this isn't a stable team, so just to be sure, I ran it 4 more times. And the next time I got 5 million, the time after that I got 7.3 million, then I got 6 million, then I got 7.1 million. So I think it's a pretty stable team. And if you are struggling for the damage, just take it off auto for 1 or 2 spots until you can get the score that you need. If you have any questions or want to share your alternate team builds for this, put them in the comment section. Make sure you remember to join my Discord and smash everything. Smash the like button, the bell, ML Rowana, the subscribe button, smash it all, and you guys have a great rest of your week.